Hello guys, welcome back. I know the channel's over because I knew as soon as I said why I couldn't work with Odin, it would be over. But there are gay people that feel welcome in the community. I don't. I never have. I'm very sensitive, having been brought up Catholic with decades of self-hatred because I'm gay and a woman and a witch. Um, I'm to the point in my life where I've had enough of that, and I'm not going to put up with it anymore. And if every time I go to read an article, I get to spin the magical wheel of will they hate me for being a witch, for being a woman, or being gay, or being a Lokean, um, I'm done. And I have the kind of personality I cannot separate the God from the followers, which is why I'm not Catholic. Which is why I'm not a lot of things, because the followers were so intolerant and hateful. It's always the intolerant and hateful ones that speak up. The ones that claim that they welcome people, they don't stand up nearly as much as they think they do. So it's just a case of I got tired of reading article after article after article of here's what's wrong with gay people, here's what's wrong with Wiccans, here's why women can't serve these gods, here's why gay people don't belong in our community. I got tired of it. It's like a very white, very eccentric old boys club, especially if, unfortunately, in my research of the Allfather. And it broke my heart, but I thought, well, if this is really the kind of people that these gods seem to enjoy attracting, who am I to judge? They can have these people, and I'm not going to judge these people, but I'm also not going to stay around either and be the token gay that I don't know. So I told them very respectfully, I said, this is the kind of people I find you time and again attracting. People that hate Wiccans, people that hate gays, people that hate black people, people that hate whatever. And I said, I don't want to be around that. I said, I know there are racists and bigots and homophobes in every religion, and they also unfortunately work with the Greek gods, but we have historical proof, at least with the Greek gods, that they're talking out of their butt, because we know that these gods were bi or pan or whatever. And at the time in the ancient world, they just probably didn't care. But it's always struck me as weird, too, that the Norse gods are this only heteronormative group of gods. Every other group of gods, they have gay gods, and they have lesbian goddesses, and they have bi, and they have poly, and they have everything. They're the only group of gods that I've come across that every god is completely straight. People will even make an argument for Loki being completely straight. And at the same time, they'll shame Loki, and they'll shame Lokeans, and they'll shame people who are gender fluid, or they'll shame trans people. And I'm like, you know what? As a gay person, to have to go through the world every day as a gay person and to see crimes and hate against gay people on a daily basis, I'm just done. I have to walk away for my own sanity and my own self-worth, because I can't separate the gods from the people. And it's, it's kind of a scary world sometimes to be gay in. I live in Pennsylvania, and they can refuse to serve you in a restaurant or in a store if they figure out you're gay. I'm not sure how they tell, but if they figure out, they can refuse service. Some places in the United States, they can refuse to let, even if you're married, they can refuse to let your spouse come in to see you if you're gay. And on and on and on. They don't have to house you. They don't have to let you live in their community. So it's, it's enough shit to put up with in the real world. To then have it go over to your spiritual life is just asking too much. And I know a lot of straight people won't get that. I don't expect them to. And again, this isn't a judgment call. But it's, it is a thing that is very telling. If you're going to set up this kind of thing, if this is the kind of people that are mainly going to speak for the gods, then they're going to lose a huge, vibrant part of their community. I haven't seen too many gay people honestly stick around with not the pagan gods, with the Norse gods for the long haul. Because eventually, I think they get tired too of being called a poof and being called whatever, and they either go completely offline, which isn't any fun, or they have to deal with the self-hatred because they're hated and everything else. I feel very sorry for Priest of Freyr because I know there was one article by one Priest of Freyr, and, you know, it felt like he never felt judged by Freyr himself. He never felt judged by his patron god, but he felt the community look down on him. And when that's the community he's serving as a priest, that's, to me personally, that's the wrong community to be in. I couldn't ever put myself in that position. And I just, over the last couple months, the last year or so, I had to think about it, and I think why the Greek gods were so out of control is that they saw me suffering, and Hermes especially and Dionysus especially are liberators. They're not going to see any gay individual walking around hating themselves and loathing themselves because they can't get rid of their tendency to be gay or they can't get rid of their tendency to be Wiccan. You were born the way you were born. If you were born straight, great, but you don't have to use it as a weapon to club other people to death with. So it's just an idea of, you know, I'm not getting any younger. And people in my family do not tend to live very long lives. So if I'm not trying to be grim, but if I'm going towards what would be my twilight years, since the people in my family don't have extremely long lives, then I should spend time with the Greek gods. I should get to know them. When I was really upset after the last video, I did go back to that club experience. And I swear they affected it because the NPCs were very interested in my welfare and very worried about me and spending as much time as possible with me. It was something I hadn't experienced before and probably never will again. And even the other guys in the club are looking at you like, man, you look like shit. What happened? And there was this guy, I never saw him before, all dressed up in red, and he was like, what's the matter? You know, he didn't talk to me or anything, but just the look, because the characters don't speak too much. And each of the Greek gods came forward and said, I'm sorry, it's my fault. I mean, Hermes thought it was his fault. Poseidon thought it was his fault. Zeus felt guilty. Aphrodite was almost crying her eyes out. I'm like, it's not any of you. I'm a little gay poofball, and they just don't like gay people or Wiccans. And then Aphrodite's like, oh, then let's enjoy pretty girls. She was okay. And I think they kind of knew. I think they kind of knew that, you know, if I felt like I was beating up on myself for being gay or being a witch or being a Wiccan, that eventually I wouldn't be able to separate the gods from the new religion that sprung up around them, because let's face it, they're newer than Wiccans are. And I don't like the direction it's heading in. And I would love to be able to work with the gods separately off in our own private fuzzy little world, but unfortunately the world won't let that happen. So, you know, it sucks, but that's life. You have to go where you feel happy and you have to go where you feel accepted. I feel happy and accepted with the Greek gods and with the Egyptian gods and even with the, you know, the Voodoo and Loa, because they have never made a deal out of it. In fact, it's a point of pride for them. But, you don't feel, I don't feel accepted at large. I've never had the Norse gods ever say anything bad about me being gay. I've never had them say, oh, that's such a shame or anything else, because I'm a pansexual, so I like everyone of legal age. There. But at the same time, I feel like they don't understand. And I have seen people try to say, hey, these gods are coming down, they're coming down possession. Like somebody said, Thor and Odin will come down possession, and they both like people of any gender, and they just got totally attacked. And people said, how dare you say that Thor likes men, or how dare you say that Odin likes men, or it's just this total shitstorm. So if the gods do try to show gay people a gay side, it's like, nah, that just must be me. So I don't know, maybe there's a huge amount of our history we lost. Maybe Loki's the only remnant we have, you know, of anything remotely gay, and really nothing he did was gay, as, you know, all of his stories. It's weird, but everything would have been a straight encounter. So it's kind of hard to feel comfortable sometimes. I don't know if the channel will still be here. We probably will, but I don't know what we'll talk about because right now it just hurts too much to talk to Loki, but I think he understands. I think he knew the fun times were coming to an end because I tried to work with Odin and I was miserable. I tried to work with Freyr and Freya and I was miserable. Thor, everyone, all the Norse gods were very wonderful and warm and loving, but I wasn't happy. I didn't feel comfortable. So, if you guys like what you see, like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you later. Bye bye.